Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez here. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's watching. We are about to head out to go visit our second daughter, and we're going to have dinner there. Our son Jeremy's coming, so it'll be brother, sister, and son-in-law, and a girl from her work. We got to go pick her up as well. What? Why am I here on such a great holiday? Well, I just been getting so many questions along these lines, and I have to address it before we go. So, simply put, all of us that get a photo printer, I don't care how high end it is, how low end, it could be something like a 6-color dye printer from Epson. It could be even a all-in-one Canon printer that you use for photographs as well as your documents. It could be anything within that range. Something like this, or something as mundane as a small all-in-one including a scanner. And then you decide, once you have used up or partially used up your OEM original inks and you're satisfied with them, all of a sudden now you decide to go third party. And then you don't really do it right. Okay, what does that mean? Well, let's just pick something that will show immediate effects. Okay, a Pro 100, a Epson P400. Why do I choose those two? They have cartridges that ride on top of the printhead. There are no ink lines, there are no internal compartments or dampers, anywhere where any extra ink is being stored. As soon as you change one cartridge with another, you will see the effects pretty much immediately. So what happens? What do they do? Rather than switching over completely to a third-party ink source that they trust, or maybe they have no clue whether this is any good or not, they begin to switch one cartridge at a time. And worse than that, they actually choose to buy some cheap compatible cartridges from eBay. And often those are available for just a couple of dollars per cartridge. How could you pass that up? Yeah, I've done that. I've done that and still do for my cheap all-in-one printer that I just use for common printing of documents and emails and that sort of thing. Nothing important. As long as I can see something printed, I don't care. Yeah, but the moment I want to try do some photos with that printer and that combination of inks, it'll be just awful. So how to avoid this type of thing? And this is what a lot of people are doing. They run out of yellow, so they add a cartridge of that cheap yellow ink, and especially on a Canon Pro 100, that would be disastrous. Don't do that. And so what happens? Well, immediately they start seeing a mild effect. Whatever yellow affects, that's what is going to show up. Okay, and it's many things, many colors are affected by the presence of yellow. So what happens? Well, yellow is yellow. It should be the same, shouldn't it? No, it's not. Yellow is not just yellow. Yellow from many different sources will vary visually. You look at it and it looks different. It's like, wow. Red, again, it varies. Okay, if you buy red paint from many different manufacturers and make a swatch, you'll have slight differences in rendition or tonality or color. So don't ever just one at a time switch over to a third-party ink set, okay? Especially unknown ones from China. They're basically almost universal. They try to produce an ink that'll supposedly work with every single printer out there. Well, you know that's not true. Printers require specific viscosity because they have different types of print heads, okay? So you can't just do that. Especially those cheap universal inks. Don't ever go to a office supply store and buy universal refill kit for Canon, universal refill kit for Epson. Often they're sold for any printer. That's not true. That's impossible. They will ruin your printer. Don't do that. Okay? So you want to switch over to third-party inks? This is how you do it. The whole thing or none. Okay? And I'm sorry, you're going to be wasting a lot of OEM ink because by the time one of those colors reaches empty, you will have plenty of ink on the other cartridges. But that's the only way you're going to go from one to the other. As a whole, you will see the immediate effect, if any. statement applies to inksets that are perfectly matched to OEM. You know what I'm talking about here, okay? The one and only that I have proven to be as close a match as anything else. So, switch completely over to that ink set. Don't mix and match, okay? Even that well-matched ink set, you might end up seeing slight differences in rendition until you are running 100%. And then if you really want to extract the maximum match, if you will, performance, call it whatever you wish, you will need a custom profile for that specific paper, okay? But to start just introducing a compatible card from eBay here, then another, so often you know what happens? You order the same color from the same provider and they send you cartridges that are actually different. They're just cyan, but they're just different. You can tell physically they're different. Yeah, they will fit. They have different designs, different ink flow characteristics. Yeah, it's horrible. Don't take a chance. Don't take a chance on your expensive printer using that type of crappy, if you will, technology. Stick with your OEM cartridges. If they are able to be modified and reused, then stick to only those. And that happens mostly with Canon printers, not so much Epson. Epson, find a good supply of refillable cartridges with good reliable auto reset chips and use those. But fill a complete set and then remove the whole set of OEM. Once you make that move over to third party, do it as a 100% move, not a partial move. You will not have so much problem switching to a really good, well-matched ink set, but you will see huge differences when you start using unknown sources, such as those found on eBay from China. That could be just about anything, okay? Really, it's that bad, okay? So don't do that. Switch over to a good, reliable ink source, fill up a complete set of cartridges, and then swap those. Yeah. That way you will see immediately, okay, this did cause a difference in color rendition, and I'm going to go ahead and make a custom profile to solve this. Period. That's what you do. But don't do it just haphazard, one at a time. And then you have no idea what you even did maybe a few weeks, months later. And your only choice would be to go back to the OEM. That would be your only choice at that point, and to restore your original excellent output. Okay, switch over completely and produce a profile. Boom. And then from that point on, if you're satisfied with those results, and you could do that very easily by printing a standard image with your OEM cartridges and a standard image with your third-party ink cartridges, complete set, after a profile has been created and you're using that profile to print with. Boom. If you like the results, you're likely going to be saving probably 80%. But again, you're going to give up something. Remember, longevity. So anyway, do that. Never, never, ever switch haphazardly one cartridge at a time, especially going the worst route possible, and that is using cheap, compatible, pre-filled cartridges with Lord knows what ink. Okay, that's not going to make your life happy, okay, or easy as far as printing at home. All right, that's it. I'm hungry. Let's go eat some turkey. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And as always, happy printing, everybody. Don't eat too much today. Bye-bye, everyone.